Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Colton Sproul, and today we're going to revisit an old video I had. I did this video about 4 years ago. Um, it is a Unity tutorial for a damage flash. I did get a couple comments on it, trying to figure out what to do with it. Some people were a little confused on it. Um, Apologies for not responding to some of those. I was going through some stuff at the time. Um, but I wanted to revisit it. It's my most watched video, and I think it would be beneficial to revisit and try to explain what's going on. But I'm going to do it a little different this time because I'm going to do this with ChatGPT. And the original, I did it all by hand. Um, I coded it with my own ideas, and everything worked fine. I know how to do it. I'm just going to do it a little differently this time. So ChatGPT already knows what I'm trying to do for the most part, but I'm going to tell you the prompts. I'm just going to go through and give it a prompt. Um, Image flash script in Unity, C sharp. I need the uh, object I need the script to grab the mesh render and color and change it to a color value that I wish to have. This also need to store the original color value to revert to. Um, what else do we need? Um, I want the the image flash color to be serialized to change between different values I select depending on what object it's on. I also have the new Unity 6.0 with the new input system. I would like to use input from that to trigger the change. Input is um, input actions. That is, system. Let's see. It's here. So if you don't have the new input, you go to Windows, uh, My Assets or Package Manager, Unity Registry. Um, Inside the Unity Registry, you come down to Input System, and then this is your input system I'm talking about. If it says remove, it's already installed and in your project. Now I'm looking for this right here. So this input system actions, I'm looking for player, and then I'm going to choose attack, which under attack is my left mouse button. So player attack, but it's located in, I'm not saving because I didn't change anything. The other thing you need to do is generate a C# class so you can actually pull these and modify them in scripts if you want to do that. But I don't think you can actually pull them unless you generate a C# class. You'll have to click that and click apply. And then it creates this, and it just basically lets you see all the different actions, actions in the system uh, with the you can see here move in the value, control type, vector2, process interaction is just straight state true. So it's everything in here, but it's in code. So we're looking for input systems underscore actions. Then player, then attack. Um, and we do this with a coroutine that delays and allow me to serialize the delay value as well. See what it does. Thinking. Absolutely. Here's a clean and flexible damage flash script in C# that does exactly what you asked for. With serialized fields of flash color and delay, automatically grabs the mesh render, stores the original color, and uses the new input system. Input system actions or input actions player attack to trigger. Then yes, it uses the coroutine so flashes and reverts back. So automatically finds the mesh render on the object, stores original material color, serialize flash color and flash duration, use new input system, coroutine handles flash reverting, super modular can be used on any object, reused on any object with a mesh render. So what we're going to do is just grab all this, and I'm going to redo it real quick after we paste it, so we're not just, and see if it's correct. Damage flash. Get rid of these. Some of the other stuff I've been working on in the background. Alright, I'm going to paste that, save it. So the flash color right now is set to red. We don't need that. We're going to set that in the inspector. Flash duration, we can keep that there. We're going to set that in the inspector too. And then it's grabbing the input system actions, input actions. It's grabbing the mesh render, or it's got a mesh render reference. Sorry, I can't even think. Color, the original color, and it's flashing full is set to false. The other thing it's doing is not finding that because I probably didn't grab the top parts here. Yeah, the input system. That's why you gotta grab everything and double check. Okay. So on on awake, we're grabbing the mesh render. If the mesh render is null, it's just gonna give us a log error, damage flash, needs mesh render on the same game object. Else, the original color is set in the original color to the material.color through the mesh render. If the input actions is equal to null, we're going to create a new input actions. This is just giving us the ability to use our input actions. On enable, we're saying on player attack performed, we're going to call this function. So every time we click this input action callback, this left click is going to call this on attack performed. We're enabling it on enable, and we're disabling it on disable. So we're minusing it. This is just cleanup. So we're not, it's weird. It's kind of over my head. It's the process of power, I guess. I don't know. That's beyond me. It's just good practice to clean it up. On attack perform, trigger flash on input. If it's not flashing, you're going to start the flash coroutine. Is flashing is set to true. We change the material to the flash color. We wait for the flash duration, which is whatever we put that in as, and then after that, we revert it back to the original color and we turn that back off. This looks right, it looks clean, and we will see if it does work. The only other thing we need to do now is actually put it on the objects. Now for this cube, the flash color, cool, we can set it to black, so black flash. That would be zoom for all you nerds out there. Flash color for this one, we'll flash it red, and we'll flash it at a 0.25. And for this third cube, I would like blue. Why not? Good old blue. Let's go. I'm being too picky here. Let's use blue. Anyways, 0.5. So all three of these should flash when I left click. They should flash at different intervals and different colors. Boom. The left one, oh, this one is throwing me off. Hold on. Black, red, and then blue. That was throwing me off. Uh, Black should flash quickest, red will flash second quickest, blue will flash slowest. Or second slowest, my bad. So fastest flash, mid flash, slow flash. So this one is flashing black, and if you keep on clicking it, it should not break anything because the coroutine is still running and it should properly do what it needs to do. So that is a clean and efficient way to do that. That is if you have that's, we can extend it even. So like if we wanted to change this up, we can have a new box collider. Okay, so on these cubes, we're going to move these around. This is being a little weird. Anyways, we're going to set this to a trigger. And this box collider, I'm going to set it to 2 by 2 by 2 so that it's bigger. Actually, we're going to do that to all three of these 2 by 2 by 2. So the reason I'm doing this, instead of triggering it by a click, right? We can actually trigger this by on trigger enter. So this would not be this anymore. Excuse me. I'm drinking some Monster right now, and it is getting to me. We do on trigger enter if collider other if other dot get component or other dot tag compare tag is equal to, I'll do compare tag that doesn't make any sense. If the other tag is equal to player, if watch, it's not going to work at all if I have it coded like this in a minute. If the other dot compare tag is equal to player, we can then say if it's not flashing, we can tell it to flash. It should work. Then we don't need this either. So this is a different way to trigger it. So this would be like, make sure that your box colliders down here are set to triggers, or else it's not going to work. And you got to have, jumping the gun here, you actually have to have a player. So delete this guy out of here. And my modular first person controller is free on the asset store, and it's pretty cool. You just drag and drop him into the scene and he works. He is tagged as player. So I'm looking for that tag. Now, if I walk into this on trigger enter, should, so, oh man, let me get rid of this real quick. Get rid of that restore. Oh, there we go. Now, boom. Now I'm entering, every time I enter, it's triggering because I'm entering the trigger area and it's triggering that flash. So the reason this works is because it's just a trigger area. And the reason you'd want to do something like this is because if I was close enough, I can then do the same thing with calling from one script to the other and then telling it to, hey, trigger this flash when you take damage, or I can have one script like a health script call. I can have a health script call it if I wanted to. So real quick, we can have a helper script. So the scripting on a behavior, damage flash helper. So this will be like if you had, second, say this is your damage flash script. You would normally have this in the same script, but say it's not. Um, this is how you would call the secondary script. So you got the damage flash helper. You would then look for your damage flash, name it damage flash because that's the best naming. Um, on start, you can then get that component damage flash because it's on the same object. Now, instead of having the on trigger enter here, the we're going to have a we're going to have a public void because this is a private here. Public void start damage flash. Okay, and then this is going in here. This will go in here now. And then on trigger enter, this whole thing is coming out and it's going to this one, right? So, well, what it's going to do in here is if it's saying now it's still comparing the tag on the trigger enter because the trigger is still on the same game object. It's just grabbing the damage flash script since it's on the same game object. And now we're going to grab the damage flash dot start damage flash. Now it's just passing in the information from this script to this script saying, hey, something happened over here, therefore you need to do something for me. So like health happened, health got damaged, do my damage flash, or health got damaged, grab my animator and make me do a certain animation. So it's the same setup, it's just how you would talk to it through a script. And it's doing the same exact thing. See it? So I hope that helps. It's not too terribly hard. It's just I went pretty quick in this. I didn't want to take up too much of you guys' time. The main things you guys want to look out for is when you're writing the scripts, make sure they're on the game objects. Make sure when you're doing get component, make sure they're on the game objects. The components you're looking for are on the game objects. Make sure the game components that you put on the game objects, if they're box gliders, they're set as triggers. So if you're doing on trigger enter, if not, you can set them as colliders. So the final thing here is this one I can set as a collider. And then for this one, I can have a secondary function called on collision enter. And then we'll do the same thing. But instead of other, we're grabbing the collision dot game that dot the game object dot yes. So now I'm going to run into an invisible wall on the first one, but when I hit it, it should flash, what, black? So I'm not going to get too close to it. It's going to hit that wall, and then it should flash red. See? Or black, sorry. So that is a collision enter. That's the difference between a trigger and a collision. So make sure you're accounting for those things. So if you want a collision, you don't set it to a trigger, obviously. I mean, it doesn't sound, it's not too obvious to you guys, my apologies. That's just the way it works. If you have any questions, please do comment. I have no problem actually trying to clarify some of these, and I have no problem going over some more stuff. If there's things I do know, I have no problem helping you guys. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something, and I appreciate you guys watching the videos. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys later.